And joining us now in studio are two executives with OriginClear Incorporated. OCLN is their stock symbol. Of course, on my far left, Mr. Riggs Eckelberry. He's the Dean of Water. He's also the CEO of the company. Riggs, always a pleasure.
As always.
And with us, new guest, Tom Marchicello. You're a strategic advisor with WaterChain. Welcome to the program.
Thanks. Hi. Nice to meet you.
So what does a strategic advisor do with WaterChain? Because this is WaterChain to us is fascinating anyway, but tell us how you came involved with it.
Sure. I had a good fintech background, and so Riggs needed a little assistance kind of developing the economic models around cryptocurrencies and blockchain, and I had a long history there, so I was able to guide the development of the project.
It's kind of amazing when you talk to people about blockchain, cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, whatever the case may be. Everyone's familiar with the terms, but not many people really know what they are.
Sure, yeah. People mix up cryptocurrency and blockchain like they're interchangeable, but they're just not. You know, the truth of the matter is you can have coins and tokens as cryptocurrencies, which you could use for exchange or payment. And you can have blockchain, which is fundamentally a distributed database. And you don't have to have both in order to do a project, but you can if your project calls for it. So what happens is sometimes these projects basically have sophisticated technology which use a blockchain to help move things around from one point to the other without being centralized. That's where blockchain tech comes in. And coins and currencies are really there as financial mediums of exchange or some kind of currency format. And when you put them together kind of like a sandwich, you end up basically building the fundamental building blocks of something juicy and interesting that you can share with others.
Well, now, Riggs, you've mentioned before that you're using WaterChain as a way to eliminate the drag on the movement of water technology, right?
Well, as I've discussed on this show, there's a whole trend towards decentralization of water treatment, where more and more companies, users are self-reliant for their own water treatment. Now, that is much less, Wall Street knows how to fund billion-dollar projects. But what about the $500,000 projects? That's much harder to finance. And so we're really interested in accelerating the decentralized from, let's say, $10,000 to $1 million project, which is right in the wheelhouse of what our own division, Modular Water, does. So we're very self-interested here.
So WaterChain is a solution to that, Tom?
Yeah, WaterChain basically creates this interesting community of water entrepreneurs and industrial players who basically can now start sourcing water, clean water and reclaimed water from decentralized sources. So people who aren't necessarily on the municipal grid or aren't yet connected in the big infrastructure plays, and you can have smaller plays on the edge. And then WaterChain acts as what we kind of affectionately call a database where you can view all of the different participants on the edge and realize the contributions they can make to sourcing clean water for everybody.
So for smaller operations, this is really the key.
Yeah, it's really an innovation because basically if you're trying to solve big problems, you can do it like with small groups at a time that can all contribute into a bigger pool.
I'm seeing a logo they just put up on screen that says Heavy Crypto. Heavy Crypto seems like a rock album, so to speak. Tell us about Heavy Crypto.
Heavy Crypto. That's kind of what we did, right? Well, we were joking around, I think, but Riggs was really right to say in the heavy industry space, there really isn't a big play there for crypto and blockchain yet. So Riggs and WaterChain is one of the first platforms that's going to address the water utilities industry and water industry, which is a heavy industry. And we're looking at kind of like a beefier, stronger, more infrastructure based play for crypto, and that's what WaterChain gets to do.
Riggs, I can see why you brought this guy with you. He's got all the answers.
He's got answers, and furthermore, he really has pulled the model together in a way that is cryptocurrency native. Because how do you get things financed in cryptocurrency? You've got to make it work. There's nothing worse than a failed cryptocurrency.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
so, it's like we gave a party and nobody came.
Right.
Oops. What do we do with all the champagne? So this is a case of you've got to make it work for the industry, and you've got to serve an audience. And we believe that WaterChain is going to be critical to solving water problems by not with massive centralized projects, which take forever to build, but 1,000 points of light. Many, many, many projects that add up to one big tsunami of water treatment.
Tom, when you're explaining this concept to people, do they seem to get it firsthand, or do they have to go through like 101 and 102, so to speak?
It depends on their experience, obviously. Like, I think folks that have corporate experience or finance experience, they tend to get it pretty quick because they like, okay, you're creating an economy for water and you're creating this banking functionality which is going to fund projects and get them into the market faster. So that makes sense. It's not unlike things they've heard. But for maybe people who are super green on the edge, that are more like on the investor class, and they're trying to kind of figure out, do I invest in cryptocurrencies? They're usually the ones that kind of poke around and try to understand what you're talking about.
Well, let's face it, novice cryptocurrency investors think it all begins and ends with Bitcoin.
Yeah, it's a real shame, actually. You know, Bitcoin's awesome, right? It's a platform, and people misunderstand that. Bitcoin is a network.
Right.
And then BTC, which is a coin that sits on top of the Bitcoin network, is a transactional currency element, right? But, you know, often they'll just interchange the whole topic, and you'll hear the pundits, you know, pushing a bunch of FUD against, you know, Bitcoin, it's terrible, it's going down, or it's going up, and that's about as deep as they get. But what happens is when it sucks up all the air out of the room, Bitcoin becomes the only currency. Nobody ever talks about the other applications and uses of cryptocurrencies or blockchain for industrial uses like this. So you don't get a chance to have a conversation to people. It's kind of weird.
OriginClear, OCLN is a stock symbol. As I've always said, Riggs, you bring people in here, you in here. Always an education.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.